Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Thermos Almanac Scott Selections here for Tuesday, September 19th. For again, today's play of the day. Quick recap what happened yesterday. We had a loss in the NFL with the Browns and Steelers game. First quarter under 7 points at minus 110 on Caesars. Main reason we took it is because I had doubts about Watson or Pickett leading his respective team to a touchdown in the first quarter. And we were right because neither team actually had an offensive touchdown in the first quarter. Both offenses combined for 3 points. The problem was Watson was so bad he threw a pick six in the first minute of the game. In fact, the first play of the game. So the bet wasn't even close to cashing. And yet the handicap for fading both quarterbacks was kind of right. Watson just once again gifted 7 points away to the wrong team, and that's how we lost. So kind of unfortunate there, but either way, I picked up a loss. Look for a winner here on Tuesday. And for today's play of the day, going to switch gears, talking about some WNBA action. Gonna look at game two between the Mystics and the Liberty, taking place at around 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And for this game, going to take a player prop in this one. Going to take Ionescu under 5.5 assists at minus 135 on Caesars. Time recording of 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Covering why we're going to take the under for assists here. First reason, Ionescu has really not been good at facilitating lately. She has recorded less than 6 assists in 9 of her last 10 games. That's including game one of the series. And if you want to even go back further, she's recorded less than 6 assists in 12 of her last 16 games. So Ionescu's gone under once again in 90% of the last 10 games. And if you want to go further, she's gone under in 75% of the games in the last month or so. So the point is, Ionescu has really not been involved in facilitating that much with this team. And most importantly, the Liberty have been winning a bunch of these games. So I really don't expect Ionescu to suddenly facilitate again, as her best role with this team is being a knockdown three-point shooter and just a great shot maker in general. But Ionescu in game one specifically only had 2 assists. She had 29 points and hit 6 3-pointers. So I do think once again she's going to embrace the shoot first mentality in game two as well. But Ionescu with this team, I mentioned a second ago that her role for this unit is to be a shooter. She doesn't play point guard, even though she has the ability to. They use Vandersloot as the point guard, so she handles most of the pick and roll responsibilities. Ionescu's mostly working off ball, trying to find open three-point lanes. She can dribble and she can pass, but for the most part, she once again is not the main facilitator on this team, which is why I do think that 5.5 is way too high for a number. But to go through Washington's defense, they've actually been very good defensively over the last couple of weeks. In the last 10 games, Washington ranks first in defensive rating. And most importantly, Washington in the last 10 games allowing the fewest assists per game. Washington tends to play a pretty slow style of offense, so that does limit the possessions in general. But defensively, they've been battling a bunch of injuries all year long. But when healthy, this is always an elite unit. And with them being able to really limit the overall number of assists from the opponents, I think once again, that's another reason why this number is too high. But I do want to mention how game one played out, because the Liberty did score 90 points in game one, which is a very impressive showing, especially against Washington's defense. However, despite scoring 90, Washington was still very good at limiting the assists. The Liberty only had 18 assists despite scoring 90 points. So once again, if the Mystics are able to keep their defensive integrity intact and force the Liberty to actually hit shots, they still really force a lot of isolation offense, and they do a good job of watching backdoor cuts and staying with their players or assignments. The point is, I do think that with the Liberty probably getting to a ceiling of 20 assists in this game, there's not enough to go around, and I do think that Ionescu should finish somewhere around 3 or 4 in this game. But 5.5 for a player that's gone under in 9 of 10, under in 12 of 16, and she's against the number one team in the league in the last month at preventing assists. I think this number's too high, and I am going to go with the unders. Play that once again here for Tuesday, September 19th is going to be on Ionescu under 5.5 assists and minus 135 on Caesars. Bye, everyone.